Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Delvis Valentine Show, live and direct from the beautiful studios of my residence. I'm Delvis Valentine, and let's get to it. Today is the NFL draft, and it's just unconscionable that they have been defecating on Shedeur Sanders. It's funny that the media is doing everything that they can to tear down this young man. This young man has been under the spotlight since he was a child. You've never heard him getting into any trouble. You never heard of him not doing right. He's flashy, what some people say, but it's funny that you hear him being described as arrogant, flashy, and all of this, but when Johnny Manziel was in college, it was confident. So you could take the same characteristic, but depending on the person, you seem that you use the different descriptive phrases. In other words, the white media don't like this brother because he's unapologetically black and he's unapologetically him. They want somebody to be all humble and stuff. But what the media doesn't tell you is that, do you know who led college football in completion percentage this year? It wasn't Jackson Dart. It wasn't Tyler Shaw. It was Shedeur Sanders was number one. You haven't heard any of these bums in the media say that. Dude completed 74% of his passes playing outside, not in a dome, not in warm weather, but in Colorado. Completed 74% of his passes. Now, you do remember that in college, they also include your bowl game. So this young man, 74%, number one in the NCAAs, but they never say that. They never say that with that 74% completion percentage, my man threw for over 4,200 yards. You don't hear that. You don't hear that he's a leader of his team. All you hear about is bullshit. All you hear about is the supposed anonymous source. You know, the same one that Stephen A. Smith, the communist, the same one that he uses when he wants to disparage another brother, which is often, is always the source. Like Jaylen Brown said, you know, who's your source? The source is all in their own mind. That these so-called sources now are just trying to say he was a terrible interview. This kid has been in the spotlight forever. Why do you think? I mean, there's some people that think I'm arrogant. And a lot of them are these Trumpers who think that just because you're black, you're supposed to be substandard. And that's why they try to, the DEI thing, you know, well, they didn't get there because they're better. They're there because they're DEI. No, I'm better because I was better than your ass. All day, every day, and twice on Sunday. I was just better than you. A lot of people, and I don't know any black people that really got anything just because they're black. Never heard of it. But I know some people that got some jobs just because they're white. I know some people that were promoted just because they're white. Just like what's happening with this bum number 45/47's cabinet. He got one coon in his cabinet, and he doesn't have any qualifications, but just because they have the right skin tone, and they kiss his behind. But going back to Shedeur, I hope Shedeur Sanders does not come to the Cleveland Browns. Please don't come here. I hope Jalen Milroe does not come to the Cleveland Browns. As bad as this organization is, I hope they draft a Jackson Dart, who, if you try to compare Jackson Dart versus Shedeur Sanders, it's not close. But you got some Uncle Toms like Emmanuel Acho and some of these other people that say that he's better. His completion percentage wasn't better. And he played at Ole Miss, warm weather. Shedeur played in Colorado, 5,000 feet high. But they're trying to say that this dude is better. The offense that he ran at Ole Miss is very, very, very simplistic. One read, throw the ball. One read, throw the ball. Those receivers were running pretty much, they wasn't running any kind of complex routes, outs, digs, slants. That's it. And that's why you don't see Lane Kiffin producing any quality quarterbacks in the NFL. Because the complexities, well, the Browns offense isn't complex, and that's because they have the worst head coach in the league. Now, Jackson Dart fits what Kevin Stefanski wants because he wants someone that isn't that good. The reason why I don't want Shedeur Sanders or Jalen Milroe in Cleveland is because I don't want to see this man destroy another black quarterback. People are thinking that Deshaun Watson couldn't play. No, this offense is offensive. You haven't heard anybody other than Joe Flacco say how he enjoyed being under Kevin Stefanski. The players, not just Delvis Valentine, the players say that he's the worst head coach in the NFL. And then look at his staff. You fire the offensive coordinator again, making them the fall guy for your inept play caller. He's an inept play caller. This dude never should have been a head coach, let alone another offensive coordinator. And then he have somebody else or their offensive coordinator in name only. But Stefanski calls the plays. It lets you know it's his offense, this archaic Stone Age offense, which only suits brothers. I mean, it doesn't suit brothers. It suits a mediocre quarterback like Jackson Dart. The real problem solver would have been to fire Stefanski. Dude was 3-14. And the players, even the year before that, told you he was not a good coach. At some point, your players know. Listen to your players. And Jimmy Haslam, you have the most haphazard organization in the NFL. You're worse than the Bengals, because at least the Bengals have gone to a couple of Super Bowls. You have somebody who's not hardly in Cleveland, an analytic guru, and the one sport you can't really use analytics a lot is football. You can use it as a tool, but you can't use it as a basis. And that's what they're doing. They have Paul DePodesta just there, and strategy officer. In other words, he's running the show. Andrew Berry, he's just there because Stefanski, DePodesta, and all these people are the ones that selected Berry. Berry wasn't selected first. He gets this guy good talent and he abuses it. Deshaun Watson will lead Cleveland and be a prolific player again. You've never seen Kevin Stefanski prolific in anything other than be 3-14. The year before that, they were 11-6. They had a favorable schedule, and the defense was lights out. But toward the end of the season, people failed to realize, that people failed to really pay attention, that defense was failing too. When you lose in a playoff game 45-14, and your quarterback threw 2 interceptions for touchdowns, he scored more for the other team than he scored for your team, and you want him back. Defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. And that was the beginning of the end. But these bums in the media, your Mary Kay Cabot, your Tony Grossi, the other goofy people at Cleveland.com, except for my brother Irie Harris, and some of the acne boy, I don't even know his name, and the dude from the Akron Beacon Journal looked like Dusty Rhodes' son, and that goof Daryl Ryder, all the rest of them. They so busy French kissing and tossing Stefanski salad, they're not reporting what's accurate. They know that the players do not want to be coached by this man. You've seen players leave you or come in. I want to play for Kevin Stefanski. They've given Andrew Berry kudos. Remember, who was the one that smoothed over this thing with Myles Garrett? It wasn't Kevin Stefanski, and it wasn't that sorry defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. By the way, Stefanski is so messed up. He got Schwartz helping him determine who's a good quarterback. And nobody wants Schwartz as a defensive coordinator. Nobody wanted him then. No other team would say that Joe Flacco could start for them but this organization. So tonight, I hope for the brothers' sake, I hope they trade down and get Jackson Dart because that's what they deserve. Or Tyler Shaw. And Tyler Shaw is the quarterback from Louisville who they're falling in love with. Dude is 25 years old. He turns 26 in September, the first month of the season. So he was a 25-year-old playing against 18 and 19-year-olds. And he only had, I think, something like 23 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. His passing percentage or completion percentage was like 62.7%. At 25 years old, what dude started college, he was playing in 2018. This is 2025. Who's in college 7 years? And they consider him a top prospect. I bet you the Browns do. You had Brandon Whedon, who was horrible. And this guy, 7 years in college. So that tells you, one, he's injury prone. And two, if you're 25 and you only have a 62% passing completion percentage, you shouldn't even be drafted, let alone they're trying to pump this dude up. So I hope they get one of those guys because that's who they deserve. And when the Browns are ready to compete, when the Browns are ready to be a viable team, they will get rid of this. I mean, your special teams was bad. Your defense was bad. Your offense was bad. And the two people you blame are your offensive coordinator who didn't call plays until most of the season was over with, and your offensive line coach. So who you hire to take their place? Someone who's never been an offensive coordinator in the NFL and someone who's never been the offensive line coach in the NFL. So Browns fans, I don't know what to tell you other than demand that Jimmy Haslam do something right. And real quick about him, I lost a lot of respect for him. It's bad enough that you're trying to move the team to Brook Park, but if you ride out there to where they're trying to build this thing, the infrastructure to put that thing in there is going to be a prohibitive cost. He needs to just put that thing at Burke Lakefront Airport, and whether it's Mayor Bibb, my good friend Blaine Griffin, or whoever, get some talks, get some things started and build it there. Because the only thing I agree with Haslam is that it's untenable for the Browns to remain at that stadium. It's antiquated. It was badly built thanks to Carmen policy, the Pepe Le Pew looking character. For when they came back, it was him. That bum. He was running the Browns. Him and Al Lerner, another bum. And they still got a statue of him on Berea. Need to take that crap down. So he reminds me now what Haslam will say is he's good, been good for the city of Cleveland. He put some fields down for some of the high schools in Cleveland and Akron and other cities. But I say that's akin to Nino Brown giving out turkeys and destroying the neighborhood. He wants to destroy Cleveland because, yeah, you doing that little thing with the fields, but you're going to be costing a lot of people jobs, a lot of our folks jobs, going all the way out there to Brook Park. It's already bad out there because it's right by the airport. Who would want a stadium? A stadium next to the airport. That's as corny as it can get. And then they say, well, we're going to build housing. Who wants to live by there? With the traffic from the stadium as well as the airport, you won't be able to live there. And then you want to put another entertainment district. Cleveland cannot support 2 entertainment districts. The hotels are downtown, but you want them to come all the way out to Brook Park. By the way, look at the census and see what's the population far as demographics are for Brook Park area. They don't look like me. And my last thing is Shannon Sharpe. Truly an example of when you play stupid games, your monkey ass gets stupid prizes. Now, dude, when you were with CBS, you got caught into some domestic violence, some other kind of stuff. You lost your job. You were found not guilty. They didn't even press charges, but still you got that stain. Then the thing where you were up there having sex with some woman and it was on Instagram, far as the audio part. And you turned that into a male enhancement thing, Rose Sparks, and so you made money off of that. You are 50-something years old, and I don't really get deep into it as some other people like, well, that's a 35, 40-year age difference. I look more of it as you getting a 19-year-old off of OnlyFans. What do you think she was going to do? Lead you in prayer meeting? You going to read Bible verses? Dude, you're supposed to know better, especially you are on the verge of being great. You had a Cat Williams interview that's still the most watched interview in history, man. And this is what you do? Monique told you, leave them young girls alone, get you a sister that can cook, and be cool. Because I'll tell you something, man. Sisters in their 50s, their sex drive is more than that 19-year-old from OnlyFans. Wink, wink. So I don't feel sorry for him. I feel that he was set up from the get-up. And when I tried to tell people Tony Busby was a crook, because Tony Busby was the same dude that went after Deshaun Watson, same dude that went after Diddy, same dude that went after Jay-Z. He has a hard-on against black men. Maybe the main reason is because he tried to run for mayor of Houston and he got his mouth torn out with his punk ass. I don't like Tony Busby. And Shannon is right when he said, yeah, he just has a vendetta against black men. You're right. But dude, you're supposed to know better. You up here screwing a 19-year-old OnlyFans. You need to leave that Hollywood facade behind you, bruh, and get back to being a regular brother. We seen many dudes fall, man. And really, you lost your soul when you joined the communist Stephen A. Smith. That's when you lost your soul. And you need to find your soul. Because it's going to cost you some money. And then your lawyer says, y'all offered a $10 million. That did not help your case in the public opinion. You shouldn't have offered her anything. Actually, you should have left her alone. You got all the text messages. She's saying if a woman is telling you all of this stuff, it's a setup from the get up, man. You can't have your nose that wide open. But I dig it. You want to be Hollywood. You want to be Hollywood. Man, you still a Bama from Georgia, man. You should slow walk this thing. You should have left the communists. Because now everybody knows your name and you trying to, you're dating people that don't look like none of your kids' mothers. Age-wise or any other wise. And then D.L. Hughley's punk ass want to jump in on it, and just because they have gift. D.L., you still hang with DJ Vlad, man. You a sucker, man. You a sucker Bob, for real, though. And now you want to kick the man while he's down. You didn't say nothing before. You on sissy silence, man. Keep it that way. All this hell that black folks are catching, but y'all want to throw shots at a brother who's down. And you brothers try not to get down. So the draft, the first, I'm taping this on the first day of the draft, April 24th. Browns pick number 2. I think they're going to trade down. And like I said, I think they're going to get one of these, great hope quarterbacks. And there should be some, just like how people are picketing Elon Musk, Brown fans need to picket Jimmy Haslam and tell him you need to do better and get you a winning organization. That's something you can control, partner. All right, Delvis Valentine Show, we out. Enjoy your day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you soon. Peace.